Welcome to the League of Women Voters of Washington interviews of candidates for Supreme Court justices in the August primary. The League is a nonpartisan organization. We never support a party or a candidate. My name is Amy Easton, and my guest is Jaime Hawk, who is running for position 3 on the Washington State Supreme Court. We are asking all the candidates for this office the same 4 questions. Each candidate has up to 90 seconds to answer each question, and the answers are timed. This video of candidate Hawk's responses will remain on the Washington State League's website until after the primary elections on Tuesday, August 4th, 2026. Candidate Hawk, thank you very much for agreeing to this interview and seeking to serve in public office. Our first question is, what are the benefits of being or not being a judge before running for the state Supreme Court?
Judicial experience matters, especially current trial court experience. And when it comes to that experience, I bring something Washington voters have consistently valued. Right now, I have more judicial experience than our 3 most recent sitting Supreme Court justices combined. As a King County Superior Court judge, I've presided over hundreds of civil, criminal, and family law cases. I've handled appeals from lower courts. I've issued hundreds of written decisions. That's not theoretical knowledge. That's the daily work of applying the law to real people's lives. Washington voters have shown for over 30 years that this is what they want. When voters elevate sitting judges to the Supreme Court, voters consistently elect trial judges to become justices. That's not a coincidence. It reflects what voters know instinctively, a justice who's currently in the trenches, issuing rulings directly to the parties affected, managing a courtroom, watching precedent play out, seeing where procedural barriers shut people out of justice, brings a current perspective you can't get any other way. That's not abstract for me. I've spent over a decade implementing court reforms, including today on the Supreme Court's Minority and Justice Commission. I bring the experience the Supreme Court needs today.
Thank you, candidate Hawk. Question 2. How would you approach a case in an area of law with which you have no knowledge or experience?
For more than 20 years, first as an attorney, then as a judge, I've been exposed to a broad range of areas of the law. As an attorney, I tried cases and argued appeals. I practiced in state and federal court. I was counsel of record on appellate amicus briefs before our state Supreme Court. As a judge, I've handled complex criminal, civil, and family law cases, as well as appeals from lower courts. When I face an unfamiliar area of the law, I approach it with the same diligence and discipline that have guided my whole career. I thoroughly review the record. I study the relevant statutes and precedent. I consider the arguments carefully that each party presents, and I engage thoughtfully with my colleagues on the court. Being a judge means confronting new and complex legal issues regularly. It comes with the job. I'm committed to giving every case careful, impartial, well-reasoned consideration, no matter how unfamiliar the terrain. My broad experience has prepared me well for this next role, and honestly, being challenged by new issues is part of why this opportunity excites me.
Thank you. Question 3. When is it appropriate for the judiciary to overturn a statute or popular referendum?
Each branch of government has a distinct constitutional role, and courts should respect those roles while fulfilling their own responsibility of interpreting and applying the law. Legislative enactments deserve deference. They reflect the will of the people through their elected representatives. But the judiciary's job is to make sure that everything the legislative and executive branches do complies with our constitutional and statutory requirements while maintaining the proper balance among all three branches of government. That's the standard. Courts don't overturn a statute or a referendum because they disagree with it. They act when a law fails to meet its constitutional obligations. The independence of the judiciary is foundational to who we are. Our service to the people depends on public trust, trust that our decisions, even when unpopular in the moment, are grounded in the rule of law, not the mood of the moment, but the law itself now and for the future.
Thank you, Candidate Hawk. One more question. Is there a judge or justice in history or today that you most admire and why?
Thank you. I most admire the late Justice Mary Fairhurst, who held position 3, this very seat I'm running for, and who was one of my mentors who inspired me to become a judge. We share the Myra Bradwell Award given to Gonzaga Law alumni for outstanding legal service and for furthering women's and children's issues through the law. Her example continues to guide me in my judicial leadership as co-chair of the Courts and Community Committee of King County Superior Court, where I work with students, youth, and community partners to build public trust in the judiciary. I hope to serve position 3 in a way that honors her legacy of connecting the court with the people it serves. I also admire Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg, the first and only ACLU lawyer to reach the U.S. Supreme Court. I followed a similar path as the first attorney with the ACLU of Washington to become a judge in our state, and her leadership continues to inspire me. Justice Fairhurst and Justice Ginsburg served very differently, but both are models I hope to carry forward as a justice on our Supreme Court.
Thank you for those responses.
Thank you.
Once again, thank you for giving the public this insight into your views and values. Viewers, please don't forget to vote by August 4th. You can deposit your ballot in any of the official ballot drop boxes located throughout the state. If you prefer to mail your ballot, it must be postmarked by August 4th to be counted. If you are mailing your ballot after July 27th, we recommend you hand it directly to a postal clerk and request a postmark at the counter. You may also return your ballot in person at any county auditor's office. When in doubt, always use a drop box. A complete list of drop box locations is included in your voter's pamphlet. Voters can find additional information about these and other candidates for state and federal offices by visiting vote411.org. This concludes the interview. Thank you so much, Candidate Hawk.